faithfuls, I'm finally coming to you with a highly requested video on how to tint the lace on your lace frontal so that you have a flawless transition from the skin to the scalp. If you want to see how I do that, keep watching. So the hair that I'll be using today is from Sunber Hair. They sent me 4 bundles of their Peruvian body wave and an 18-inch frontal. The frontal that they sent me is already light brown in color. However, it is still a bit light for my complexion, so I will need to make it a bit darker. So I'm going to take some boiling hot water and pour it into a bowl, and I'm going to take just enough to completely soak the frontal. The color I'll be using is from Adore. It's their sienna brown color. Some people also use the dark brown color. However, this one works for my complexion. And I poured about a spoonful of the color into the hot water. To be honest, I don't typically measure how much color I add to the water. I usually just kind of eyeball it. I typically take a piece of paper towel to just dip it in the water and test how dark the color is, and make adjustments from there. If you want it a bit darker, you could just add more color, and if you want it lighter, you just add more water. What I like to do next is cut off a little piece of the frontal and just kind of dip that in the water, and I use that to gauge just about how long I'm going to need to let that frontal sit in the water, because there is no standard color for frontals. Some vendors' frontals come lighter, some may come darker, so you'll always need to adjust the time based on the current frontal that you're trying to tint and making sure that it matches your complexion. So those would be the 2 factors that will come into play. So I'm going to add a little bit more color to this water because I didn't feel like it was deep enough, and I'm using that paper towel again just to kind of look to see if it intensified the color, which it did. Now at this time I'm going to submerge this frontal within the water, and I'm going to just use one of these application brushes to make sure that the frontal is fully submerged in the water. You want to make sure that there's no pieces that's sticking out, just so you can have a even application all around. And since this frontal was already tinted slightly brown, I'm not going to leave it in the water for too long. So I set my timer for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to come and check it at that time. Of course, if you're lighter than me, you might want to check it in 2 minutes as opposed to 5, and if you're darker, you might want to leave it in just a little bit longer. Again, as I mentioned, it's really going to depend on the starting color of the lace. So 5 minutes has passed, and I'm just kind of eyeballing the lace to see how dark it got. I put it against my hand, and as you can see, now it's blending a lot more with my complexion. So I'm pretty satisfied with the color that it's at now, so I'm going to proceed with shampooing the frontal and rinsing the excess color off. And here's a comparison on how it looked before and after, and as you can see, it's a lot more brown. Next, I'm going to proceed with bleaching the knots. I'm not going to go into detail because I have several videos on my channel on how I bleach the knots. You can actually bleach the knots before tinting or after tinting. It's really a matter of preference. I just like my part to be a little lighter than the front of the lace. So I added a few wand curls to this hair, and this is the final look. This hair is real pretty, guys. If you want information on this hair, I'll have that listed in the description box down below, and I'll be sure to add my other videos on how I pluck and customize my frontal at the end of this video. If you found this video helpful, as always, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I want to thank you guys for watching, and as always, until next time, I will see you in my next video. Take care now.